everyone, and welcome back to the 7th episode of Hymn of the Goddess podcast. Today, I am joined by a talented Julia Kahn, who is a singer, songwriter, and producer, and overall artist. Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Thanks so much for being here. Julia is based in Nashville, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Is that where you originally from, or did you move there for music?
No, I am originally from Indiana, actually, which is the Midwest here in the US. And I ended up moving there to Nashville for music, like a little bit after college. So no, I was a few years, and yeah, it's a great place. I mean, it's grown so much, especially in a lot of the other genres that isn't just country. The pop scene and kind of the underground alt pop, just whole has really grown, and it's a good place to be. Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll cut this out.
Yeah, for sure.
So you recently dropped an album.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I saw through, going through your Instagram page and your posts about it that it's been like 2.5 years in the making.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How was that?
It was a very long time coming. Especially releasing a full album as an independent artist. There's just so many different hats and different things you have to wear. So it's definitely a journey and a process. And I knew when I started to make this project, I really wanted to make it a conceptual project with the theme and underlying layers. And I really wanted to be intentional in all of the details from, the sonic side of things, but also all the visuals and the visual stories I was telling. So I decided to take a little bit more time with that just to make sure it reflected that. And, I did a bit of a waterfall release. So I kind of did it where almost each track was its own little world and its own world of feeling to dive into as they released. But yeah, it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into that project for sure.
Well, it was definitely worth it because everything is very beautiful and very cohesive. As you know, fan, I loved the visuals that I've seen and the music videos. I've particularly loved Better That Way. All of them are beautiful, but I don't know, something about that one really spoke to me.
Oh, thank
and
you.
You've mentioned in your post that world building is one of your favorite things as an artist. So would you share a little bit about how you approach world building?
Yeah. So for me, I feel like when I make a song and when I'm writing, I do think of it very visually as well. And I love to create boards, and when I kind of know the theme and when I have a visual idea or a symbol or whatever it is, I really like to pull inspiration from all kinds of things. With Better That Way, I knew that I wanted this feeling of feeling stuck in the machine. And I had this idea to use the contrast of kind of like the natural and nature elements and also the technology futuristic machine elements. So I first came up with the idea of having the contrast of like cables and cords wrapped me up, and then also like roots and leaves and flipping back and forth between them. And so I knew that just kind of came to me, and I wanted to include that in when we were thinking of what felt stuck in the machine to me. I felt like the old staticky TVs would just be a really cool visual. And one of the people I worked with, Acacia, she actually had some old TVs that she had worked with on other sets. So we were like, oh, perfect. Yeah, so we kind of built it out from there. But I feel like it changes a little bit song to song. I usually will maybe have some kind of visual like that come to me. And then I'll like to make different boards of inspiration of colors and themes and stuff and kind of build it out that way, or build out a shot list, things like that too. So that's definitely one of my favorite parts for sure.
And, from having the idea to then actually being able to execute it, how, did you end up building like a core team of people that you work with that help you create and bring these visions to life? Or is it project by project basis?
Yeah, I honestly was so lucky to work with such talented people on this whole project. For a few of my music videos, I worked with Talia Stewart and Acacia Evans, like on the Magic video and Better That Way, and it was really fun. We had an all women crew, which was a great energy. But so we'd kind of do it where I would maybe have these themes, these ideas, shot list, visual ideas. I would bring the board into them, and then they would help me just bring it to life in the most amazing ways. So I worked with them on those 2 videos, and then for the remainder of the videos, I had worked with Creative River, which is a production company. They're a couple in Nashville, Primo and Mo, and they're amazing, so talented. And I got to work with them on Badlands, Nonchalant, the Inhale intro video, and
Yes.
like cover art and things like that. So
I loved those as well. I mean, Nonchalant as well. I love all the themes going on in there. I'm very excited for the remix that's coming out, right?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I have a remix coming out Friday, January 30th, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, it's kind of just like a darker electronic take on Nonchalant, which, that song, that's one of my favorites from the project for sure. It really is about just feeling deeply and not being afraid to feel deeply and kind of fighting against just like this nonchalance epidemic and just trying to be people and kind of the apathy of the world that has been going on right now. That original song was really that sentiment of just kind of boldly fighting against that and boldly exclaiming that I, want to feel deeply and like I'm going to. And and the video was really fun too, because I knew I had really wanted to incorporate some like feminine archetypes, and throughout the project. And that one, I really was like, okay, I want to lean into, kind of the feminine warrior archetype, the like red veiled goddess archetype, kind of have it flip between them. So that was really fun. But yeah, this remix, me and my co-producer Jesse Brock, who's also amazing, I was messing with it one day and kind of like chopping at my vocals. And then I was like, wait, this is actually kind of a vibe. What if we made an electronic remix? Because I also am very kind of intertwined with the electronic music world as well. I do a lot of top lighting work for EDMX. I've always loved the festival and rave and electronic scene. So that was kind of fun to do a little remix that, it's kind of a little nod to that. And also kind of brings the themes of Nonchalant back around again, because I just feel like it's very relevant. And I'm excited for that. Yeah.
I'm very excited to hear it. And it's always fun and interesting, like when artists decide to remix their own songs, because it kind of goes to show like, okay, you really like that one. Because sometimes the crowd favorite is not the artist's favorite and vice versa.
I know. I feel like that's always the case. Like the one that is your favorite or you think as an artist, one from left field, people end up loving so much more. So I feel like, I don't know, it's hard for me to choose a favorite. I feel like it just rotates, it changes for sure, depending on the mood. But this one, it just felt like it lended to a remix. And it just felt like a vibe as we were creating it. So I also working on a little bit of a deluxe for the album as well. So this felt like a nice first little step.
Okay, nice. All right. Yeah. I mean, one thing I did notice, and what you were just saying, you were playing around with female archetypes, but I also have to say that I know an EP that you released was called The Heroine's Journey, right? So I feel like there's a connection between these two.
For sure. Definitely. Heroine's Journey was almost, kind of like the introduction, my first EP. Where it's kind of a take on the hero's journey that we see in a lot of our movies and stories and books everywhere, which is kind of more like an outward journey of going out and saving the world, whereas like the heroine's journey, the female version of that, is a little bit more inward. So usually the protagonist goes deeper into themselves and kind of has to move through darkness in order to find their power and light, and then bring that out to the world, which I thought was beautiful. And, I thought was definitely a reflection of the story I was telling at that time, with kind of my inner journey I'd been going through. And then, Earthchild is almost like a further expansion from that place.
And coincidentally, I was actually started reading The Heroine's Journey last night.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a book that I recommend for people to see and for them to be able to deeper understand everything you just said now and deeper understand your album or EP and the album, I guess.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, I really love that. And I've been obviously going through your discography and your Instagram as well. And I've noticed, this like artist development in obviously everything in the beginning was great, but it
No,
seems like you have honed over the time and like figured your artistic identity out. I mean, which might still change because we're
yeah.
always, we're never an end product, but
Sure.
would you walk us through that?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for saying that. I definitely feel like I have come a long way since the first stuff I've been releasing. But honestly, I feel like it was a lot of just trial and error, putting things out and then seeing like, okay, wait, I feel like actually I want to expand more into this, and then releasing another thing and being like, oh wait, maybe I want to expand a little more in this area. And I feel like it took me a second to figure out who I was as an artist, like visually and sonically, and how to kind of
Mm.
tell the full picture. And also, connect to the right creative people as well, who I could share my vision with, and they understood it and were like, okay, yeah, let's go, and didn't shy away from, when I come in with all these like insane ideas. Like I'm a Virgo, I'm very detail oriented. I come in with a
Mm.
lot of like wild ideas sometimes, and so being able to work with people who finally were like, oh, love it, let's go there, let's like bring that to life however we can, really was amazing. And I just feel like, yeah, as I have gotten to know myself as an artist more and more deeply dive into the world I want to create, I think my art has reflected and grown with that. And I think a big piece of it for me, yeah, was just realizing, I don't know, the whole story I wanted to tell and how to do that visually, sonically. I just feel like it developed from a lot of just trying things and continuing to just put myself out there. And like some of it, I'm just, I try to be kind of looking back on early stuff because I'm like, oh, like it's so different. But I think it was all part of the story of like, you have to just put things out and
Mm.
try things and fail and succeed at others and figure out kind of what's working, what isn't, how to keep growing and how to keep building on what you're trying to express. So yeah, I feel like it's just been years of me trying things out. Like now I feel like I'm at a place where I'm like, okay, this is feeling much more like who I want to be as an artist and what I want to say. And that's, I feel like, something that felt so different and good this time with this project versus maybe my earlier ones. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I loved everything, but I know what it's like when you look back on yourself and you're like, I don't know if I fully align with that version of me anymore. I
Yeah,
guess they all deserve, the love.
that's the thing. Exactly. It's like, I've been a journey for me too, just loving all those versions of myself that we're trying, that we're
Mm.
learning along the way. And also, I do feel like even if certain things were unpolished or unfinished, my early stuff, I do feel like the underlying like heart and sentiment of what I've been trying to do has been there from the beginning.
Mm.
It's just been how I've like kind of grown into my own confidence, I think, expressing it in different ways. But yeah, I feel like learning to love those past versions of yourself that were still figuring it out and still trying their best, still showing up, like, is so important, so key.
And especially as independent artists, it's like we are figuring it all out by ourselves. We don't have a team or a label and everyone guiding us. So
Literally.
props.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a crazy journey, but yeah, you understand, and I think it's great to talk to other artists and independent artists and creators who are doing this on their own. Like, it really is just such a like inner journey of just being like, okay, like there's no one else to tell you what you should be doing when. No, you're good. But yeah, it's like there's no one else to tell you what to do next and where to go. You just kind of have to really push through and figure things out on your own. But I do think ultimately that leads to creating better art, figuring out who you are even deeper. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and would you say you had like there were any books or courses or something that helped you through this development?
Definitely, definitely. Books wise, some of my favorite books are Women Who Run with the Wolves. That's like my Bible. Yes, by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. I don't know if you've read that before.
I haven't, no, but I really want to now.
Gosh, it's so good, especially just like for feminine, I don't know, reconnecting you to your like inner wild and your inner feminine and thinking of it in like a mythological and very poetic
Okay.
way. Love that book. Also, I mean, everyone's now been talking about it, but The Artist's Way, I've done like 4 times. That book really did change like how I approached my creativity and helped me unblock myself so much. I go to that over and over again. You know, I think now it's like gaining a lot of popularity for a reason, but that one was huge. I've also been really lucky to work with an incredible vocal coach recently this year, Wendy Parr, who is just amazing. She also does really awesome artist development, and she has a course called Compass that I was able to be a part of, and that just kind of helps you unlock like your creativity and your artistry from like visuals, branding, outfits, sonic stuff too. That really was so helpful, and just such a great community to join and be a part of. That was really helpful too. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I feel like there's love books. I'm always nerding out about that. There's plenty. I also love The Power of Now. That's not really like creativity.
I love that book.
But you know, foundation I feel like is so important. Like just that mindfulness and like presence.
I feel like being in the present moment really opens your eyes to the things that can inspire you around you.
100%.
So,
yeah.
You know, The Artist's Way is something I've started and I haven't fully gone through it. So you are yet another person that is making me feel like, okay, I really need to give this a go.
Yeah, it is like it's like a little commitment. But if you do the pages and you do the tasks, it really does work. Like even if it is,
you're a prime example. So
no, I just and you know, I think there's different things work for different people, but it is really helpful, I think, just to help move through like creative blocks and open up a lot of different curiosities and parts of yourself that maybe you like forgot or hadn't tapped into. I think it's so great for that. And yeah, I really love that book. Definitely changed my life. I'm trying to think if there's any others. I think those are kind of the main ones. And I think when it comes to like Power Up Now and things, I have always also been really connected to and interested in spirituality. And I do a lot of those types of practices myself. Meditation and mental health and everything are really important to me. I actually studied psychology in school as well. I was music, so which I think you can like I kind of hear sometimes when you dive into my music. But yeah, I think that concept of just like taking care of inner world reflects your outer world so much. It all starts within. Like that whole concept, I think, is definitely been so influential for me and as a creator and just in my music and life. Like, yeah, definitely a big thing.
Oh, so it makes like knowing you're a Scorpio moon and studying psychology makes sense. If you saw my book stand.
Every time I do a deep dive, yeah, it reads me to filth. I'm like, I'm so a Scorpio moon. I'm a Virgo sun, Scorpio moon, and a Scorpio rising, which is a lot of energy, a lot of
intense for sure.
Yeah, intense depths of the depths. What's the meaning of everything?
Yeah, let's get down to the bottom of it. I'm talking as a Scorpio sun, so I understand. Yeah.
I know. It's like, it's insanity sometimes. But also, though, I think, yeah, you get it. It's just like finding those deeper layers of things. And I feel like Scorpio is so misunderstood sometimes, too. But I feel like it's really about, you know, the depths of things and like a beautiful intensity in a way, not shying away from that, which I think is cool. But then sometimes,
yeah, and it's going to those places that other people don't dare go to. And we are the guides of the abyss.
Yes, we'll guide you through the darkness for sure. Yeah, definitely. I think you would like Women Who Run with Wolves too. With you being a Scorpio, it's very much like that energy. But
yeah, I would definitely put it on my to-read list. I'm excited to try that now. Yeah. And so speaking of Scorpio moon, the remix coming out is a Scorpio moon remix. So does that mean there's going to be an extra layer of depth and darkness?
So Yes, so this one I called the Scorpio Moon Edition because, well, in the original Nonchalant song, there's the second verse where I talk about being a Scorpio moon and like rough around the edges, don't know where I belong, that whole thing. So this being like the Scorpio Moon version, it doesn't really like go farther lyrically. Like, it's some of the same lyrics, but sonically, it's kind of this like darker electronic, little bassier energy. So that's kind of where I approach that. And like with that Scorpio Moon mentioned in the second verse, I was like, oh wait, okay, yeah, this feels like that version coming out a little bit. So that's why I titled it that. But
Okay, I'll hear it very soon. I don't know if this podcast will be out, probably not, but to all listening after release, you will have been able to hear it straight away. So check it out. So speaking of the electronic part to your music, there is an element for sure of that I've noticed in your songs, but what would you say your main musical influences are?
Well, I feel like whenever people ask me this, I have a lot of different influences across the board. I think when I was little, growing up, I was really influenced by a lot of soul artists, a lot of like just the greats in a lot of different genres, and also a lot of kind of 70s revolution style music. So it's like I feel like I took a lot of different things from those when I was little, how I kind of the messaging and things. But then as I've gotten older, I've been really influenced by like Florence and the Machine, Lana Del Rey, Frank Ocean, like so many artists. I love Lord, love Banks. Those are kind of more current ones, but definitely, been inspired by a lot of the electronic scene too, as I started to like go to festivals and immerse in that just community like that, and just going to live shows, that definitely informed a lot of those little electronic elements I feel like that you hear come through in my music. But then yeah, I've really been inspired also by like Rosalia. I've been so inspired by lately, or like a lot of artists who I just feel like are very intentional with their art, or they really are telling a story in conceptually. I love a lot of conceptual artists, but no matter what genre it is. So I really listen to every genre, which I know everyone says that, but I really am inspired by so many different paths of music. And that's kind of where with my music now, you hear a lot of blend of influences of things.
I can hear it like there is a blend of genres in your music for sure. So hence why my question, because I find it like I don't really, not that I don't like, but it sometimes seems difficult when you try to promote your music. Be like, what do I compare myself to? What genre do I fit in? I don't know if that's something you've struggled with.
Yes, I always like just felt a little bit of a misfit in some of those ways where I'm like, I feel like I don't fit in any of the clear boxes sometimes. And I think for a while that was tough. Yeah, like on a promotion side, I'm like, okay, I'm not exactly like this, maybe like a little bit of this influence, but also a little bit of this. I think for a while, yeah, I struggled with that a little bit, but then I've realized now it's something that I'm kind of trying to embrace, because I feel like it's good to bring something new to the table. I think it's good to be different. I think what makes you different can also be a superpower if you learn how to kind of wield it in the right way, and like embracing all these different sides of you. And that's kind of a lot of things that come through in this project too. It's like I didn't really want just one sonic palette. Each song is almost its own little influences and different palettes, because these are these different emotions I'm feeling. Like one day I feel more like vulnerable and stripped back and like that, so that song just needs to feel like that. Another day it's like magic, where I want it to be like lots of production, gritty drums, like high energy, and others that kind of sit in between. And so I feel like this project especially, and just recently as an artist, like embracing all the different sides of myself and really just trying to express that. Yeah, like I don't fit nice and neatly into like a single box, but I do think that when you listen, there is a cohesion and like there is a kind of unique blend to it, which when I think of my own, all my favorite artists ever, they all blended genres, or they like either moved through different genres as their career progressed, or they would pull from a lot of different influences. So it's like, yeah, I think it's just something that I've been really just trying to lean into and not try to like change anymore about myself. Like I'm trying to just embrace all the different sides. And yeah, promotion, obviously that's one thing, but I do feel like now genres are kind of dying a little bit. I think now a lot of people are blending a lot more. Like
Yeah.
you're a lot of stuff now just kind of mixing in between everything. So I don't know. I think I'm just trying to lean into the.
I mean, there's always the alternative, which is the umbrella. So
Right. Yeah, it's like all pop, ethereal pop,
yeah,
electro pop. Yeah.
so that's always great. But so who are your all-time favorites if you had to pick top three?
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. All-time favorites, like forever.
Or we can, okay,
Surprise.
let's do childhood, teen years, and now.
Okay, that's better. There's kind of like random. Okay, as a child, one of my favorites ever was Michael Jackson. When I was really little, my family like had that like like DVD of like number ones where it was like all the music videos, and I just remember being really little and watching all the music videos, and that was like the first time I was like, whoa, like what is this? Like this is the whole world. And so when I was little, that totally inspired me much.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, okay. I always said when I say that, people would be like surprised, but like when you think about it conceptually.
No, because you said the world, and like you say how you love world building. So,
Right.
you know,
Yes.
seeing from Michael Jackson's perspective and all of that, like it shapes you. But,
Yeah. So as a kid, that was a big one. Also, like a lot of the Motown artists, like Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, all of them. Also Stevie Nicks.
Okay.
That's Stevie Nicks, which I think definitely in my style and writing a little bit, like she was like such obsessed with her. Teen years. Oh, and I also would throw in Amy Winehouse in there when I was little.
All right.
Like all across the board. Teen years, let's see. Teen years is kind of hard. It was like I listened to a lot of alt stuff, but also like, you know, a lot of Tracy Chapman I remember like being obsessed with. A lot of Florence and the Machine. I love Machine, Lord, Lana, like Lana and Lord. Okay. Teen years, like for sure formed
All right.
a lot of who I am. And yeah, I feel like, sorry, again, this is getting like all across the board everywhere. And then later, because you're asking for like all-time favorites.
Yes, I know it's a hard one. I'm sorry.
I know. I would like to answer this question. Okay. Electronic wise, favorites. I just love Jamie XX, Odessa, Flume. Really, I loved. Yeah, I don't know. Those were really formative for me, I think.
That's interesting. That's such a like range, like, and it does reflect in your music now.
Like it makes no sense. I'm also probably forgetting everyone I've ever listened to. Whenever everyone asks me that question, I'm like suddenly I'm like I like blank my favorite people. I'm just like I don't know. Like everything inspires me. Like everyone. But yeah, I don't know. It's really across the board, kind of random, but like I feel like I just pull from so many different places, you know. Just and I don't know if I could choose like just my all-time faves. I don't know.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, it is a tough question, especially if you're like a music lover, but I love how versatile it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, different styles and different time eras. And yeah, that really reflects. But I love that as a kid you were listening to that kind of music. Like I mean, there's an age difference here, but I grew up on Britney Spears and Spice Girls, and like that was, you know.
I mean, yes. I mean, that was my first concert with Britney Spears when I was little. So
how was it? You remember it?
I was so little. I don't even really remember much of it. I remember just like laying down, like being so little, like in the lawn. Like I have like a subtle memory of that, but barely. I had an older sister who was like obsessed too, and so I would just be like dragged, you know, go to all the things. And I love Britney Spears too. I love all the pop girls also.
Yeah, no, but that's very lucky that you were able to see that live. I haven't had the chance to see Britney, and I don't know if I ever will, but hopefully, if she does decide to tour ever again, yeah, that's definitely on the bucket list.
Yes. Oh my God, you have to. I also, oh, I don't know. I also forgot Beyonce too. Beyonce
Yeah,
has been so inspiring to me. Again, we're completely different genres, but just like as
the
a
Virgo work ethic.
the Virgo work ethic, the like world building, the
Mhm.
conceptual like, nature of what she does, her performance, just like the excellence. Like yeah, I'm always top for me.
I've been studying her a little bit lately, and like I watched the Homecoming documentary and then the Beyonce like behind the scenes talking about the making of the album. Really love that, and seeing how she approaches work.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, she's locked in, and I just love that. I also, if you have you seen Lemonade or Black is King?
As in the videos on it, or the
Albums, yeah.
yes, I've seen the videos. I don't know if there's been any like talk in between, like she did. I
Yeah,
think
there's like a full like movie. Oh man, it's so good.
I will definitely have to check that
Yeah,
one out. Yeah.
it's worth it. It's worth it.
Have you watched or do you watch movies like documentaries about artists that like really shaped you in a way or like gave you inspiration?
Oh yeah, all the time. I feel like I'm always watching music documentaries, tour like live show documentaries, anything I can. I really feel like I love being a student of the game of these artists that I look up to. I feel like that is something that helps me so much and inspires me so much. I literally anyone I can get my hands on, anyone I can watch, like I'm watching it. Like I love watching those for sure. Do you?
Yeah, I do. I started recently and I've seen a few. But I have to say Beyonce's one so far has been my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you have any recommendations?
Oh man. Beyonce. Those ones are so
Mhm.
good. I'm trying to think what I've watched recently that was really good. Do you mean like documentaries of like behind the scenes stuff?
Anything really that's like,
Yeah, because like there's some like live sets that are so good and performances, but um,
mm,
Beyonce is a really good one. I also like watching like fashion ones too. I just watched one
mhm.
that was so good, the McQueen documentary. Obsessed.
Oh, I
One
would
of my
love to see
favorites
that. I
I've ever
love my
I
queen.
watched that recently. Oh, you have to watch it. So good.
Mhm.
It's just inspiring as a creator.
Mhm.
That one was really good. I've watched there's a really good David Bowie one. There's a really good um Billie Eilish actually. I really like hers a lot. I feel like it's very real. I think it's called The World's a Little Blurry. That's the name of hers. What other one? I really want to see the Charlie XCX one. I haven't seen it yet. But honestly, yeah, the Beyonce ones are like my fave. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe those are the
Didn't
ones.
even know there were so many, so I'm gonna have to go on some
There's so many. That's the
deep.
thing. I'm trying to think of it, but off the top of my head, those are some good ones. Yeah.
Like, do you approach being an artist from all angles? Like, it's not just music and songwriting, and obviously the visuals that go with it, but like, what other things do you do that put you on an artistic path of like a day to day?
Okay. You mean that aren't necessarily making the music or doing the visuals, things like that?
Yeah, like, would you say, fashion has the big influence on you and going to art galleries and just like living immersed within the artist community?
100%. I both of those things. I mean, I think fashion is something definitely that inspires me so much, and also like I've always been like a little more introverted or shy sometimes, and I feel like fashion can be such a way to express yourself in different ways, like without having to say a whole lot. Like it can express so much of you, and I'm so inspired by that aspect of fashion, and whether it's just little things you put on that make me feel more like that inspired and artistic self. Definitely love. Same with art galleries. I love going to art galleries. I love going solo, like little solo trips to them.
And
Always,
artists.
Artist dates, yes, exactly. Love that. Also, just like in nature too. It's hard 'cause it's so insanely.
Mm,
There's been like an ice storm, and winter is hard, but like nature, just being outside too, like has always been one of my biggest just inspirations, and that makes me feel more artistic.
of course, hence Earth Child.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I think just in taking all kinds of arts, like I mentioned, like festivals and just anywhere where there are just like communities of creatives, I think leaves me feeling so inspired and much more just creative myself. I also, like in the morning, like I my meditations and I write, and I feel like tending to my own channel and like kind of tapping in within to always that always kind of aligns me with my art
Mm.
artistry and my artistic self, like because everything, our world, there's so much noise, it's so chaotic. I feel like finding that time always helps me a lot too. But
Yeah, it's something I've been meaning and struggling to get into my routine. I'm not very good with mornings, so
I know, I so feel that. Like that's what I'm working on, my nighttime routine. I'm so bad, like I'm such a night owl naturally, and I'm like trying to like get a better
mm,
down routine. I'm usually just like working on things and doing things until like the second I have to try to go to bed, and so I feel that. And I never been a morning person either because I am a night owl, but like I've tried. It took me a while to get like a routine of like, okay, aligning myself, but that's just because I feel I have anxiety as well. And so like it
mm,
just helps my anxiety when like I can do these things to start my day, because like when I don't, it's just like crazy in my head.
yeah, no, I mean that's really good, and I'm proud of you for putting that work in.
I'm proud of you too though, because it's like it doesn't have to be that exact like sit down meditating. It's like just like wanting to do that for yourself in whatever way, even if it's like the tiniest ways, I feel like helps so much.
No, but the thing you mentioned about staying up late, I feel like that's such a musician thing. Like every musician that I speak to, they're always like late at night recording or mixing or editing. I don't know if you do your own like mixes and stuff.
I I'm not a mix engineer. I do a little bit. I do a lot more of it, like with my production. It's a lot more of like the creation of the song process and like all the ins and outs and all the layers of things, whether it's instrumentally or vocally or whatever. But yeah, I still do. I definitely like get inspired at nighttime, or I just like get these surges of creativity like late. Like I literally, I mean, not as much right now, but like a little bit ago, yeah, I would say it's so late to like 3 or so, just like because I'd get all these ideas. I'd be editing something, and you're just like in a zone, and you want to just flow. And like now I like do, but now I've also been really inspired in early mornings, which is new. But I'm trying to like I feel like it's just anytime there's like the rest of the world feels kind of quiet. I think that's why creatives
Mm,
like it. Like
yeah.
early morning. It's like whenever you can like have that space for yourself in your brain where it feels quiet
Mm.
and everything else, I feel like is when we feel more inspired. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you on that for sure. I used to be a night owl, but with age, a bit less so. And I
Yeah.
really like worked hard for years to get a decent sleep time because when I used to work in an office and I had to wake up at 6 a.m., I was like, I cannot go to bed at 2 a.m. anymore. So
Yeah. I know. Same. That's why I've been on that journey as well. And it's been good. Yeah.
yeah. Is there one thing you would say that has really been like game changing for you, whether it was, vocal lessons or learning production or something completely different?
Like in my songwriting process, you said?
Or just creation of music. Like, for example, I don't know if you've always known how to produce or it was something that you learned with time.
Yeah, no, I do think, a little bit of all of those things definitely helped transform. But yeah, I will say I think what transformed my music the most was learning production
Mm.
in any capacity, because yeah, taught myself kind of towards the end of college and right after. I haven't been producing that long, but it's like I had been in a lot of rooms early on, which I think a lot of women relate to, where I was in the rooms with mostly men or just another man. And
Mhm.
early on, we're in certain rooms with men who just would not really listen to my ideas that I had, my visions I had, would really push them to the side, just very not, was just not hear me. And
Mm.
after being in so many of those rooms, I finally was just like, okay, like, if you're not gonna hear me, then like I'm gonna figure out how to do it myself, so I can show you, like I can just show you what I
Yeah.
mean, because I can hear it in my head, like I know what I want this to be,
Mhm.
and would just kind of be in that kind of power dynamic where it wasn't conducive. But I'm grateful for that, because then it pushed me to just be like, okay, like I'm gonna just learn to do this myself then and show you what I mean, and that helped me so much, I think, just express my ideas more fully, like fully kind of get out these things that were in my head, a little more into my tracks and into my sound, and to be able to incorporate some of those like electronic influences or those little details of things that like only you, I feel like, sometimes can access, because
Mhm.
you can describe and communicate a lot, like, and I think that's part of it too, is learning how to, when you are in certain rooms and working with people who you do align with, like how to more clearly express your ideas and finding the right ways to do that, in detail. But I feel like learning production too just helps you do that even more, and yeah, so that definitely was a game changer for me with my music. And obviously I'm like still learning so much and still growing in that always. But yeah, that was a game changer. Um, and same with just like songwriting wise, and approaching it from like moods and like world building perspectives, and really like tapping into what I want to hear, like what would I actually want to hear right now or feel, and like how to express that, versus just sometimes like, I don't know, I feel like early on I would maybe just start writing and not necessarily know like where it's gonna go yet, which that's also a
Mhm.
route in itself, But anyway, yeah, I think I'd say out of those three, I think learning production helped so much. Learning how to communicate those ideas, and yeah, just working on the craft of songwriting and every day referencing, like some of your favorite songs artists, and being like, okay, like what is it about this song that I love? Like, what are the elements that I'm like pulled by? And like, I'll make little playlists for different elements, and
Mhm.
be like, okay, wait, I love the bass, these bass sounds in these songs. Like I can reference how I love, these vocal layering here. How can I like learn from that? So I think those things definitely helped a lot. And just like
So I
study.
would say, like, you love learning and studying. Would that be?
Yes, honestly, yeah, definitely been love being a student of things for sure. And I've yeah always been that way. But yeah, I do kind of like to study kind of the greats and whatever it is, and just try to, how can I like try to, I don't
So
know,
with this,
myself. Yeah.
the album, did you have like a number of songs that you wrote and then you scaled down to what you felt worked the most, or did you have like a very clear vision of what was going on it?
Well, this album was kind of unique in how I approached it. It actually initially was supposed to be an EP, but
Mhm.
I kept writing and I kept being like, wait, something's missing. And then I would write something and I was like, wait, this has to be on it. Like, this feels like part of the story that I really need to express. This album was a lot more like targeted with the songs. Like it wasn't like, okay, we're 50 and let's narrow down. It was very much like, okay, here's the mood, here's the like, here's the themes, here's kind of the sonic palettes, here's kind of the story I'm trying to tell. And I had already written a few at that point where it was kind of shaping the story a little bit, and I was like, okay, this is kind of what keeps coming through. I had written almost like, yeah, kind of like one by one, each of the each of the songs on this project is a little bit more focused and intentional, with the story that I was trying to tell and the emotions I was trying to hit. Whereas like
Mm.
other projects I worked on, and this next one I'm doing too, you know, kind of starting out writing a bunch more within. I still have like a theme framework and a story, but yeah, I've kind of been exploring at first and then narrowing down to be
So you're
intent.
already working on your next project.
Yes. Yeah.
No time to waste.
I was like, let's just jump into it. I don't know. Me and my co-producer Jesse Brock were just like, I don't know. We were just like loving creating. We're like, let's just start kind of ideating on some of the next stuff and keep creating. And I was already that's my favorite step of the process anyway. It's just kind of like starting to create the world and like, what world am I going to build next? And so it's early phases, but we've got some exciting things started. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of jumped into the next thing,
No, that's great. I mean, if you're on a creative wave, then I say ride it, right?
Yeah, I definitely did. Like right after the project, it was definitely, definitely a burnout and just like took all of me. I felt like I just, again, being an independent artist too, and just wearing all the hats and doing all of the things for that release was a lot independently. And then also I did a kind of like an immersive album release show where it was kind of like brought the album to life, like in these rooms and with different settings, and like did this art installation, which was amazing. Like that's been also a big part of my artistry, has been like creating these kind of like immersive shows and worlds that I've been trying to do this past year, and kind of make it a whole world that you step into at my shows, which has been really fun. So that went really well. But yeah, it just like totally took everything out of me. Right after, I was like, okay, my body was like revolting against, like we need to break, like have a stop for a second, even if it's just like a month, 2 months, whatever, because like my body just was like yelling at me at a certain point of just like, and I would try to create and it would just be like blocked. And I was like, okay, I have to just pause and try to nurture myself a little more for it to come through, because
yeah, I mean, I'm in the process of finishing an album myself, and I'm looking forward to the moment that it will be finished, so I can take a little break. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I like the ending, the finishing of that is always the hardest part. So I feel you.
And so you said because it took you a while to create the whole world and the album, and it took over 2 years. How, I mean, obviously, I don't know in what time span you had the songs ready to go, but how did it feel like sitting on this amazing music and not releasing it because you're waiting for the right time?
Well, this project was like very chaotic in its creation. Like I wouldn't like recommend this framework where I was like changing things and reworking things like the whole time, like through like the 2 years, and still writing like up until like the last bit of it. Like I had like 4 versions of something I can hold on to. Like we had like 4 different versions and types of it. Like I had some of them, it was like I was working on them until until it came out, and like Nonchalant and Badlands initially weren't going to be on it, and then I was writing during that time and was like, wait, no, these have to be on it. And so yeah, those I was writing during that time, and the ones before it was mostly like like Magic and Better That Way I had for a while, and The Optimist too I did for a little bit. That one came pretty quickly, but yeah, I feel like this project was very chaotic in how I was approaching it. Like I was still writing and finishing things up until the last minute, which usually I feel like they recommend like writing and finishing those way before you even start promoting anything. And I kind of like dove into it and was like doing a lot of the world building, the visuals and the marketing, and finishing them at the same time, which was just like a lot.
Yeah. So, but I feel like that's kind of, when you're releasing singles, etc., it's hard to have a finished product.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some people are like, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like that's common in the independent sort of
I feel like I also think, everyone is different how they write and how they work. Some people are just like, they're just like writing always, and are just like, okay, I have like 10 songs, let's put them together and let's do it, and that's great. And some people, for me, sometimes I feel like I have to like sit into it and be like, okay, like what's the world, what's the story, like what's the whole, like I really like, and maybe it's overly intentional sometimes, but like I like to go in that side of things. So I think sometimes giving myself that room to like figure out what it needs to be and what it's going to be is really important to me. I also feel like, I will say, like, for this next project, that is one thing I'm trying to take my time with, though, too, is like really trying to build up the songs and everything beforehand too, to just like have a little bit more time and planning beforehand, so I'm not just like doing all of it at once. But I mean, it worked out. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes maybe when we're at like, I don't know about you, but for me, it almost feels like there was so much songs that I wanted to get out. And then now that most of them will be, I feel like I will feel a little bit more patient with the next batch. I don't know if that's something you're experiencing right now.
100%. Same. Yeah. I've literally told myself, I was like, I'm going to take my time for like even more that it, whatever it needs, you know, for the next time, and to not to let the rest of the world, you know, make me feel rushed. Or it's usually not even the rest of the world, you know, it's usually ourselves, right? Like, but not trying to,
especially as a Virgo.
oh yeah. Yeah. It's always my own brain, but so I'm trying to give myself more patience and grace in how I'm approaching my next one, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, well, do you have a planned timeline for that to come out?
Not at the moment. Probably top of next year, maybe end of this year, we'll see. But yeah, that's like a loose idea of things. But I do know I'm going to be doing a little deluxe for the album.
All right. Yes.
Throughout the rest of the year as well. In the meantime, so there will be lots of music and lots of things happening throughout this year and into next year, for sure.
So is the song you mentioned that had 3 versions? What was the title again?
Something I Can Hold On To.
Yes. So will those previous versions be making it to the deluxe?
That you'll have to wait and see. We are still, that is one thing I'm kind of working through on kind of which ones we're including and which ones not, because yeah, we literally did have 4 versions of that song, and a few versions of some others as well. So we'll see. There are some acoustic versions of some of them, some mixes. So yeah, kind of get a little taste of a lot of things. But
have you got any live shows coming up?
There will be, that I will be announcing very soon, especially in the spring. There might be one coming up in March that I might be announcing soon. But yes, definitely going to be playing a lot more live shows in the new year too. So, and I'll announce those on all my pages on social media and my website and stuff.
Okay, so everyone, make sure to follow Julia on her social media, which is Julia Kahn. It's spelled JuliaKahn, right?
Yes, perfect.
And your website is
juliakahnofficial.com.
Perfect. And you can also find some merch there.
Yes.
So it is very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, we have shirts. We have sage and cream t-shirts that are kind of themed with the album. We have some tote bags, and we have some CDs as well. And I like to sign those, write little notes to everybody who orders. And we have some more items as well. But yeah, so check that out if you'd like. Yeah,
definitely check it out. And so a couple of closing questions. If you were to summarize your album and like wanted to, you know, give someone the essence of what your album is about and what it represents, what would that be?
I would say it's an ethereal cinematic pop album. It's a letter kind of to the inner child within each of us. I like to describe it as kind of this pop mythology, which is like a story about the Earth child stuck in the world of technology. So it's very much a journey as you go through it, where it starts with an inhale, it ends with an exhale, and each song is a whole world of emotion. And really, the whole theme of the album is about the sacredness of sensitivity and how really it is the antidote that we need to help this world, and how caring deeply and feeling deeply is actually everything, and it's we need the most. And so yeah, this album is basically like to that sentiment. And yeah, it's a very cinematic journey that you can go dive into.
And my last question was going to be something that you possibly just answered right now.
Okay.
I will ask it nonetheless. What is the one message that you'd want to share with the world that you would want to be remembered by?
I think, especially with my music, one of my biggest things I'm always wanting to get across is to help people realize the light that they hold within themselves, and the power that they have within. That's one of my biggest messages I would people can take, and maybe my music can be a place for solace that people can lean on and kind of find that place inside themselves. I also think, yeah, the learning the sacredness of sensitivity and feeling deeply and accepting kind of all parts of yourself. That's what I hope my music can help people do. And, I think there's a lot of darkness and chaos in the world. And I really hope just with my music, it can be kind of this inclusive and supportive space to lean on and to turn to, help you feel empowered and more deeply understood.
That's beautiful. So thank you so much for that. And I hope everyone that does listen to your music feels that way. And if people would like to listen, they can find you on all platforms, right?
Yes, yeah. I have music on all streaming platforms. And it's under my name, Julia Kahn. So check it out.
Yes. I will link everything below.
Perfect.
And you can also order a CD, as we mentioned.
Yes. For CD, we love physical media. I'll write you a little note. I'll sign it too. So yeah, grab a CD if you'd like. We also have all the other merch items. And yeah, just thank you for having me. It's been great.
Thanks so much for being here.